Welcome to Star Wars The Clone Wars Download. In this episode, we're going to take a look at On the Wings of Keeradaks.
Now how do we get on them?
How else? We jump!
Still weak from months of imprisonment being abused and experimented on as a Separatist prisoner, Echo makes his escape with Anakin and the clones, which means big trouble for Wat Tambor.
They've ruined years of research. Find them!
Catching a ride on a group of Keeradaks, the winged creatures of Skako Minor, the group makes their way to the Politech village, resulting in what the Politechs feared most, the war coming to their home.
We didn't plan to drag his people into war, but look what the Separatists did to one of our people.
But Anakin, the clones, and the Politechs band together and fight off the attack.
He said the Jedi will always have an ally here on Skako Minor.
We took a deeper dive into On the Wings of Keeradaks with cast and crew. Here's what they had to say.
The Bad Batch are a bunch of weirdos. They're different, they're unique. So they're a bit cocky and they're a bit brash. It's why in some ways they're so good. The regular clones who like to do things a little more by the book butt up against that. But at the end of the day, if there's a bunch of battle droids blasting at them, they're all going to get along and find common purpose. Such is what happens on any kind of team situation. You don't always have to get along with everybody on the team, but we all know we're trying to win the same game. We're trying to achieve the same goal. And so we played them like that. And it's fun. And it's more fun to watch people earn each other's respect than it is just automatically there.
The Bad Batch, to me, reads as a more remarkable feat from a voice acting standpoint. If you just listen to these guys, they are more distinct and unique. However, for me, from my standpoint, it feels easier because they have so much more separation between them. And so in a way, it's an easier magic trick to pull off. There's still a lot of clones in there, and that detail I also try to maintain. So I'm sort of juggling two sets of juggling balls in this arc.
For the Keeradaks, we really looked at bats and things like that to really look at the movement. As we keep trying to go in Clone Wars, we always keep trying to push the fidelity and things. So one thing you can really look for in them is like the wings. They have that little extra movement and turbulence to try and show that they're catching air and everything.
The vocals were created by Dave Acord, and then the wing flaps were sort of this combination of leathery cloth and really heavy whooshes. So yeah, getting to see new creatures and then put in those sounds for it is really exciting. With Star Wars, you're always going back to Ben Burtt's original sound design and always trying to reference him, use as much stuff as you can. Because of where the story takes place, you're in that same timeline that he was working in for the first 3 movies, and then I'm the one that actually gets to cut those sounds to the picture.
One other thing we tried to study, because we had the D-Wings. The D-Wings were flying and the Keeradaks were flying. And originally we were thinking the D-Wings would flap those wings and be like a bird kind of thing. And then we were like, man, we got so many things flapping, you don't know where anybody is. So then we decided to make the D-Wings more like biplanes. So they basically just kind of go and just kind of keep their wings like this, and then the Keeradaks are doing this. So we wanted to make sure it was clear that the audience really knew like the difference between, all right, these are D-Wings, these are the Keeradaks.
Time of day, we always talk about from the beginning of an episode. The end of the day, you paint with these colors. The beginning of the day, you paint with these colors. But then you introduce an alien planet. And so what does that do with the colors? So at that point, you're working with shadows and where you want that light to hit characters to tell you what time of day it is. Because in the morning, the planet is cool. The sun is just coming up. And so you have that sunlight coming in, but you know the shadows are cool. And as the day goes on into the afternoon and night, when that sun goes down, you have that same thing with the sun losing its light, but now the shadows are warmer. We work with that type of palette, and you can tell day and night.
Last week we asked for your questions about A Distant Echo. At K Tonorella asked, was the design of Wat Tambor's lab modeled after Jules Verne's steampunk? Killian Plunkett, art director, answered, we went with a more retro science fiction look for all of Perkle City, both inside and out. Steampunk with its brass, copper, and rivets was one visual influence. The giant transistors and dials of the 1930s Republic serials was another. Since Flash Gordon was an influence on Star Wars, this felt like a natural inspiration for a technology that was not Republic, but fit within the galaxy far, far away. Have any burning questions about On the Wings of Keeradaks? Tweet us your questions using the hashtag Clone Wars Download, and maybe you'll see your question answered on the show. Want to learn more about this episode? Head to StarWars.com/On the Wings of Keeradaks to check out this episode guide. And don't forget to check back next week for a deep dive into Unfinished Business.